Hey, what's up, y'all? Today we're gonna be writing the Machiavelli's advice for the nice guys. I don't know if some of y'all that come on this channel watch my shorts, but I do a lot of Machiavelli, 48 Laws of Power kind of talk on the shorts. Definitely respect this man. Definitely love his political opinion. This is a video, The School of Life, where they talk about him. So I want to see. I've read his books though, so see if they hit it right. You know. Definitely subscribe, turn on post notifications. Hey y'all, man, in the first, I've dropped over 96 videos. So within the first 2 weeks of me being here, after like 4 years, I dropped 96 videos. It's because I love y'all. I want to keep pushing, definitely, for sure. But y'all, man, it's good to be back, though. You know what I'm saying? It's good to be back, but let's get into it. I ain't gonna hold y'all no longer. Hold y'all too long. Alright, let's go. Machiavelli advice for nice guys.
Machiavelli was a 16th century Florentine political thinker with powerful advice for nice people who don't get very far. His thought pivots around a central, uncomfortable observation that the wicked tend to win. And they do so because they have a huge advantage over the good. They are willing to act with the darkest ingenuity and cunning to further their cause.
He's 100% right, but I want to say something. They actually showed Martin Luther King. I think it's interesting, right? Martin Luther King's power stems off of a little bit of wickedness too, all right? So his influence, one of the things that he did during the March on Birmingham, Alabama, was he used kids, right? He used kids because he knew that would get into the mind of the American people. Once Bull Connor started unleashing his violence on everybody, Martin Luther King came in. Martin Luther King came in with the young kids and everything, and they see him sprayed with fire hoses, attacked by dogs, and the public was like, what if that was my child? You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like sly and sneaky with that, but at the same time, it was to send a message. So Machiavelli's advice, he's even, in a sense, yeah, Machiavelli's advice, he's right. Nice guys can't just follow nice patterns in order to get a message across. Gandhi had the same thing. Malcolm had the same thing. Got to be a little bit of a snake in life to get some shit done. I believe that.
They are not held back by those rigid opponents of change, principles. They will be prepared to outright lie, twist facts, threaten or get violent. They will also, when the situation demands it, know how to seductively deceive, use charm and honeyed words, bedazzle and distract. And in this way, they conquer the world. It's routinely assumed that a large part of what it means to be a good person is that one acts well. One doesn't only have good ends, one is committed to good means. So, if one wants a more serious world, one needs to win people over through serious argument, not clickbait. If one wants a...
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of disagreeing with him on what Machiavelli was actually saying, and it's kind of weird when you... Well, maybe he may pull this back, but I think it was a balance he was saying. I think around the time he was dealing with... around the time he was writing to... was it Cesare Borgia? I think that was the name. But he was writing to Cesare Borgia. And I think that through writing to Cesare Borgia, he was trying to give him a pamphlet on how to be a ruler. And I think it was a balance of good and bad he was trying to tell. Or no, maybe he wasn't. No, I'm sorry. He was writing about Cesare Borgia, but he was writing to the Medici family. I think it was the Medici family or the Medici family. It was one of those people. And he was talking kind of about the things that Cesare Borgia did in order to stay in power. Cesare Borgia, well, let's keep going, because I could go deep in with that, but it's interesting. Let's keep going.
It's a fairer world. One has to judiciously and gently try to persuade the agents of injustice to surrender willingly, not through intimidation. And if one wants people to be kind, one must show kindness to one's enemies, not ruthlessness. It sounds splendid, but Machiavelli couldn't overlook an incontrovertible problem. It doesn't work. As he looked back over the history of Florence and the Italian states more generally, he observed that nice princes, statesmen, and merchants always come unstuck. That's why he wrote the book for which we know him today, The Prince, a short, dazzling manual of advice for well-disposed princes on how not to finish last.
And I want y'all to know something. The Prince is read in so many powerful circles. So many powerful CEOs, managers, titans on Wall Street. Like, just look at their reading list. That is one of the top books on most of their reading list. That's what makes that extremely interesting. It's one of the top books on the majority of their reading list.
And the answer, in short, was to be as nice as one wished, but never to be overly devoted to acting nicely. And indeed, to know how to borrow, when need be, every single trick employed by the most cynical, dastardly, unscrupulous, and nastiest people who have ever lived. Machiavelli knew where our counterproductive obsession with acting nicely originated. The West was brought up on the Christian story of Jesus of Nazareth, the very nice man from Galilee who always treated people well and wound up as the King of Kings and the ruler of eternity. But Machiavelli pointed out one inconvenient detail to this sentimental tale of the triumph of goodness through meekness. From a practical perspective, Jesus' life was an outright disaster. This gentle soul was trampled upon and humiliated, disregarded and mocked. Judged in his lifetime and outside of any divine assistance, he was one of history's greatest losers.
Right. He became the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, but he was hung up on a cross while he was here for the love that he had for humanity. That's the story. So that goes to show love maybe not always maybe the right thing to go by. Maybe fear can be something that you can go by as well. Because like speaking of the Jesus story, if you believe in God, there's a little fear behind believing in God too. There's a little fear behind it. There's fear of punishment of not believing in God. There's a little fear behind it.
The clue to being effective lies in overcoming all vestiges of this story. The Prince was not, as is often thought, a guide to being a tyrant. It's a guide about what nice people should learn from tyrants.
Facts.
It's a book about how to be effective, not just good. It's a book haunted by examples of the impotence of the pure.
Yes, a ruler must understand. They must understand. A leader must understand. A leader almost has to cry in the dark a little bit, right? Because a leader must understand that you have to ignore some people around you that have gripes. You have to get things done. It's about being effective. And that's part of the reason why I'm not, okay, I could say Trump can be a positive thing. Like, he really can be for people who don't really think it. He could be. He could be. I think if he was aimed more at the right things, but he could be definitely a positive entity because threats, intimidation, those kind of things get messages across. Sometimes good politicking doesn't get anything done. You see what I'm saying? But I mean, y'all correct me what y'all think on that in the comment section.
Admirable Prince, and today we might add CEO, political activist or thinker, should learn every lesson from the slickest, most devious operators around. They should know how to scare and intimidate, cajole and bully, entrap and beguile. The good politician needs to learn from the bad one, the earnest entrepreneur from the slick one.
Yep.
We are all ultimately the sum of what we achieve, not what we intend. If we care about wisdom, kindness, seriousness and virtue, but only ever act wisely, kindly, seriously and virtuously, we will, Machiavelli warns us, get nowhere. We need to learn lessons from an unexpected source, those we temperamentally most despise.
They rise to power for a reason. So we should figure out what is it about tyrants that grab people's attention? What is it about it? What is it about being a tyrant? This is a great video. He's definitely given the best explanation of Machiavelli he could. It's too much to explain Machiavelli in 5 minutes. It's too much, but he's given a really good explanation for sure.
They have the most to teach us about how to bring about the reality we yearn for, but that they are fighting against. We need weapons of similar great steel to theirs. Ultimately, we should care more about being effective than about being nobly intentioned. It's not enough to dream well. The true measure is what we achieve. The purpose is to change the world for the better, not reside in the quiet comforts of good intentions and a warm heart. All this Machiavelli knew. He disturbs us for good reason, because he probes us where we are at our most self-serving. We tell ourselves we didn't get there because we're a little too pure, good and kind. Machiavelli bracingly informs us we are stuck because we have been too short-sighted to learn from those who really know, our enemies.
Yes, that was deep. Like, learning from the tyrants in history is really how you gain power. It's really how you do it, man. Oh my God, it's so many moments like this, man, in my personal life where I've noticed that people don't understand this principle, that sometimes in life it requires, okay, like for example, let me give you this example. Many people that I know that transitioned over into management always thought that when they came into management, they realized how sly management really is. It is. It's the whole side of management is sly. All they care about most of the time in companies is a number. They don't care about anything else. They really don't care about the employees. They care about the number. Like, are we meeting the number? Because if we meet the number, that's how everybody gets paid, right? So that's the only thing that really matters. So the gripes of an employee, even if an employee is saying something that could be effective towards everything, if it's changing the dynamic of how we get that number, nobody's going to stick to it and nobody's going to want to do it. And people who come into management and power need to understand that going into it, or you will not be there that long. You know what I mean? So it's a lot. It's a lot about that. That's definitely drives for a decent video. And then y'all watch the shorts. I do a lot of these on the shorts. So if y'all like this video, definitely go like to the shorts and watch my shorts. But I'm out.